Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, you're being part of my conversation with home improvement expert Bailey Carson. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Friday headlines. In national news, we have a deal. Biden announces infrastructure agreement. President Joe Biden announced on Thursday a hard-earned bipartisan agreement on an infrastructure plan that would make a start on his top legislative priority and validate his efforts to reach across the political aisle. He openly acknowledged that Democrats will likely have to tackle much of the rest on their own. The bill's price tag of $973 billion over 5 years, or $1.2 trillion over 8 years, is a scaled-back but still significant piece of Biden's broader proposals. It includes more than $500 billion in new spending and could open the door to the president's more sweeping $4 trillion proposals later on. When we can find common ground, working across party lines, that is what I will seek to do, Biden said, who deemed the deal a true bipartisan effort, breaking down the ice that too often have kept us frozen in place. The president stressed that neither side got everything they wanted in this deal. That's what it means to compromise, and said that other White House priorities will be tackled separately in a congressional budget process known as reconciliation. He made clear that the two items would be done in tandem and that he would not sign the bipartisan deal without the other, bigger piece. Progressive members of Congress declared they would hold to the same approach. This reminds me of the days when we used to get an awful lot done up in the United States Congress, said Biden, a former Delaware senator, putting his hand on the shoulder of a stoic-looking Republican Senator Rob Portman as the president made a surprise appearance with a bipartisan group of senators to announce the deal outside the White House. The deal was struck after months of partisan rancor that has consumed Washington, while Biden has insisted that something could be done despite skepticism from many in his own party. Led by Republican Portman of Ohio and Democrat Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, the group included some of the more independent lawmakers in the Senate, some known for bucking their parties. You know there are many who say bipartisanship is dead in Washington, said Sinema. We can use bipartisanship to solve these challenges. Susan Collins of Maine said, it sends an important message to the world as well as that America can function and can get things done. The proposal includes both new and existing spending and highlights the struggle lawmakers faced in coming up with ways to pay for it. The senators from both parties stressed that the deal would create jobs for the economy, a belief that clearly transcended the partisan interests and created a framework for the deal. For Biden, the deal was a welcome result. In more national news, the Associated Press says nearly all COVID deaths in the U.S. are now among the unvaccinated. Nearly all COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. now are in people who weren't vaccinated, a staggering demonstration of how effective the shots have been and an indication that deaths per day, now down to under 300, could be practically zero if everyone eligible got the vaccine. An Associated Press analysis of available government data from May shows that breakthrough infections in fully vaccinated people accounted for fewer than 1,200 of more than 853,000 COVID-19 hospitalizations. That's about 0.1%. And only about 150 of the more than 18,000 COVID-19 deaths in May were in fully vaccinated people. That translates to about 0.8%, or 5 deaths per day on average. The Associated Press analyzed figures provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC itself has not estimated what percentage of hospitalizations and deaths are in fully vaccinated people, citing limitations in the data. In business news, U.S. economy grows 6.4% in quarter one of the year, and it's likely just the start. The U.S. economy grew at a solid 6.4% rate in the first 3 months of the year, setting the stage for what economists believe may be the strongest year for the economy in about 7 decades. Growth in the gross domestic product, the country's total output of goods and services, was unchanged from 2 previous estimates, the Commerce Department said Thursday, an acceleration from the 4.3% pace of the fourth quarter. Economists believe that economic growth has continued to accelerate in the current quarter, which ends this month, as vaccinations become widespread and Americans eager to get outside are being welcomed by newly reopened businesses. Surging activity from consumers is being fueled in part by nearly $3 trillion in financial support that the government has approved since December. And finally, in entertainment news, Oscars to honor Elaine May, Danny Glover, Samuel L. Jackson. The Academy Awards will present Elaine May, Samuel L. Jackson with honorary Oscars, and Danny Glover with the Humanitarian Award at the 12th Governor's Award in January. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Follow the guidance of your own heart. Make a good impression by simply being yourself. Life is always comfortable when you choose individuals whose values are similar to your own. Be charming to all people when you come into contact with them. Be kind as you expand your horizons. It is easy to get caught up in the whims of a crowd. Your best self is always shown when you follow the guidance of your own heart. Be dedicated to your convictions and show others it is your sincere intention to live in accordance with your deepest values. The qualities you project will appeal to others, provided you make an effort that you are being your own true self. Today, simply be yourself as you enjoy the day.
Home improvement expert Bailey Carson joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show. Here's a bit of our conversation in today's entertainment spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Home improvement expert Bailey Carson joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about how we begin to prioritize those projects around our home and do so affordably. Here's a bit of our conversation. Bailey, really appreciate the time today.
Wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me. And you're right. Our to-do lists are probably longer than ever after spending so much time at home, and it can be hard to know what to prioritize. I think that home maintenance is really about prevention. And so saving yourself money in the short term and the long term. One project that we always recommend at Angie based on our cost data, because we know it has a great payback, is weatherproofing. And this is a pretty simple project. So think about caulking and weather stripping your doors and windows. This is going to help keep that AC in this summer and the heat in this winter and save you all year round on your utility bills. Another one is thinking about those outdoor entertaining spaces. I know we're all anxious to socialize after a strange year. So if you have a deck, a patio, or a fence, think about restaining it, resealing it, or repairing any damaged areas. At Angie, we're seeing a ton of requests for these types of services as folks are getting out and having friends and family over and really want things to look great and to be safe. And also, this is going to help them last longer.
Love that, Bailey. Bailey, and you're right. There are so many things we need to do, and it can save us money in the long term. But, of course, some people are thinking about, okay, when they're starting these projects, how can they save money going into them? So how should we prioritize and budget these home maintenance projects?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, I think about two things. One, how are any of these things obvious to you? Do you know that, those gutters really need to be cleaned and there could be water damage happening, which would be very expensive to fix, through a roof repair or foundation repair?
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be with you guys on Monday with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.